Hello, we're getting self-reflective this week by doing a book review on You're Not That Great, But Neither Is Anyone Else by Elan Gale. Let's have a look at the summary of the book. Now, from the very get-go of this book, it is a take on a self-help book. It's broken down into chapters that focus on methods of improving your life. Chapter 1 of this book is titled You're Not That Great, and it focuses on how a lot of people have positive mindset and how it's okay to have a negative mindset, and specifically, getting yourself into that negative mindset is a way to ensure you have a more positive life. Chapter 2 builds on Chapter 1, titled The Power of Positive Thinking, and how people have an addiction to having positive thinking, and how that is sometimes the reason why we are held back in life, and how that's a problem, and instead, negative thinking is the thing that can be used to improve our lives. Chapter 3 is titled All the Stupid Things You've Ever Been Told. This focuses on childhood development and how, because of positive thinking in our childhood, that can set us up for failure later in our adult lives, and specifically, how to overcome that hurdle. Chapter 4 is how to hate yourself completely without even trying. And again, this is the idea where Elan Gale brings in the concept of negative thinking used for a positive method. And it brings the reader into an opportunity to think and improve their life critically. Chapter 5 is titled Say Goodbye to Happiness. This is again focusing on taking the negative thinking and how to turn it into a positive mindset. Chapter 6 is titled The Dangers of Thinking You're Great, and this is where it builds off of Chapter 5, talking about why having a negative mindset is key to succeeding in certain aspects of life. And once you admit that you are not as good as you are, you're able to see what you need to improve on, and you can start improving on it. Chapter 7, titled How to Regret Every Moment in Your Life Up Until Now, builds off of the traditional self-help methodology of giving activities to do for people, the reader, to assess their life and think what we need to improve in our lives. Chapter 8 is titled Don't Pretend to Be Better Than You Are, Pretend to Be Worse. And again, this is the mindset of changing from positive thinking to negative thinking and using that negativity to fuel yourself and allow you to achieve better. Chapter 9 is titled Building a Life That Is Less Disappointing Than the One You Currently Have. Again, it builds on everything that's come before. Elan Gale, he focuses on what aspects of your life are bad and how you can use that as a motivator to improve yourself. Chapter 10, titled Other People Are Even Worse Than You, is honestly the penultimate chapter of this book, where everything that Elan has spoken about really comes to a head, and he shows how negative thinking really can drive you forward, how the idea of rock bottom found in traditional self-help books is the pinnacle and the most important thing that people need to focus on when it comes to improving themselves. And then chapter 11 is the final concluding chapter of this book. It is titled You Will Be Dead Soon, and it focuses on mortality and how life can affect people by just giving them a certain amount of time. So it's very important to not waste your time that you have, and instead try to be something more special than you currently are. So that was the summary of the book. The analysis of You're Not That Great, But Neither Is Anyone Else by Elan Gale is a little difficult because even though this is a self-help book, Elan himself has come forward in saying this is the kind of self-help book that is not meant for traditional people looking for self-help. This is a book that very much focuses on negative thinking, and rather than trying to improve yourself, instead it's more focusing on breaking yourself down and making you feel not good about yourself. Of course, not feeling good about yourself, that's not something people always want to hear, so it can be very unattractive to read that book if that is the takeaway. But Elan, he uses real life examples, interviews from film actors such as Alec Baldwin and movie producers and TV executives to illustrate how negative thinking is something prevalent in our lives and how that negative thinking can motivate us to do good work. However, one of the issues with this book that Elan wrote is he did not consult any experts. So yes, TV executives and reality TV stars are important, and people that have participated in TV shows such as The Voice or America's Got Talent are credible, it unfortunately is not something that is well researched and something that is universal. This book really would benefit from having a psychologist or a psychiatrist giving input and giving it more credibility. Unfortunately, this book does fall and not include any doctors or researchers to give credibility to it. Rather, it is full of a bunch of I feel statements that many can agree with and sympathize with, but unfortunately, this book does not offer many solutions. It was published in 2017, so perhaps further research has been conducted since then, and maybe even it's been used to reflect more on since then. But unfortunately for Elan, because of lack of credibility and research, this book really does show its age. And unfortunately, aside from something to just introduce a reader and yourself to the world of self-help, this book really cannot offer much in terms of practicality. There are a few exercises that are present in it, much like many self-help books, but unfortunately it is a little unattractive, where it offers activities such as reassuring yourself that you're a bad person, declaring that you're not a good person, or including a mantra of breaking yourself down so that you can later build yourself up. But unfortunately for many readers, that is unattractive, and frankly, it's something that not many people want to do. So that's the book, You're Not That Great, But Neither Is Anyone Else, by Elan Gale. It does come from a spot of honesty and authenticity that the author wrote, but unfortunately for him, it is something that it is difficult to read. If this is a book that seems interesting to you, I think you should certainly read it. If this is a book that you've read, I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on it as well. Be sure to come back next week when I talk about something else that's neat, or come back another time when I review another book. Until then, take it easy and happy reading.